With just days to go before Bangladesh heads to polls, Jamaat-e-Islami has pledged what I call constructive, or what it calls constructive and cooperative relations with neighbouring countries, including India. In its election manifesto released this week, Jamaat said it would pursue peaceful, friendly ties with India and other regional neighbours, stressing relations based on mutual respect and fairness. The party also promised to work towards enhancing Bangladesh's global standing and improving international credibility and mobility of the Bangladeshi passport. The timing is significant. Bangladesh is set to hold national elections and a constitutional referendum on Feb 12th in what is being described as one of the most consequential votes in the country's recent history. With the ruling Awami League barred from contesting, Jamaat and the Bangladesh Nationalist Party now in a seat-sharing arrangement have emerged as the key contenders, dramatically reshaping the electoral landscape. It was against this backdrop that the India responded. The Ministry of External Affairs said today that there is no new statement on Jamaat-e-Islami, adding that New Delhi has already articulated its position in the past and continues to stand by it. The response makes clear that India is not recalibrating its stance based on election time assurance or manifesto commitments. The MEA's reference is to India's long-held position on Jamaat-e-Islami, which New Delhi has viewed through the prism of security, ideological extremism and the party's historical role in Bangladesh's politics, that is, opposition to 1971 liberation war and its abysmal record on minority rights. India has consistently maintained that its engagement with Bangladesh is guided by actions and institutional continuity and not campaign rhetoric. Beyond India, Jamaat's manifesto outlines broader foreign policy ambitions. It emphasizes strengthening ties with the Muslim world as a key priority, expanding diplomatic and economic engagement with Eastern Europe, Africa and South America, and stepping up participation in UN and other international organizations on issues ranging from peace and security to human rights and development. Ambassador Sikri, manifestos are not supposed to be taken very seriously, but this manifesto, they have specifically mentioned India. How seriously are we supposed to take Jamaat, madam?
Well, I think you have to judge. Thank you, good evening, and thank you for inviting me. I think you have to judge this manifesto. Let me take one benchmark, which is what they say about women. You know, he says somewhere in the manifesto that they are going to have a large number of women in the cabinet. And Jamaat-e-Islami does not have a single woman candidate, not even one woman candidate among all the seats that they are fighting for. They haven't kept a single woman candidate, and now they are promising that we're going to have women in the cabinet. And then you must know that a few days ago, there was a terrible controversy about the Amir of Jamaat-e-Islami and his position on women, because he said the nastiest possible thing of women on his official Twitter account, saying that women should stay inside the home, and if they come out, they're going to be, regarded as, I cannot even say that word, such bad things. And it was later taken off from his tweet, but his own party's head of the women's cell justifies what the Amir of Jamaat-e-Islami said on his tweet about women, saying that, we all know that men are the managers of women. So I mean to say that with all this rage about the Jamaat-e-Islami position on women, he says that his promises in his manifesto that he's going to have a lot of women in the cabinet. Similarly, I would like to say about what the sentence about India, it cannot be taken seriously at all, because it says in the sentence about India, he's included many others from South Asia, like Myanmar and Sri Lanka, Nepal and so on, but he hasn't mentioned Pakistan. There's no mention of Pakistan anywhere in the manifesto, when we know that the relationship between Pakistan and Jamaat-e-Islami is about the closest possible. In fact, the Jamaat-e-Islami was founded in 1941 or thereabouts. And since then, for Pakistan, before the before the formation of Bangladesh and after, Jamaat-e-Islami has been their single most important conduit between West Pakistan and East Pakistan. And there's not even a mention, the word Pakistan is not used at all anywhere in the manifesto.
That is very, perplexing.
Exactly. There is one sentence which says that we are going to prioritize relations with Muslim countries. So I think that, this shows that their manifesto is totally meaningless. And I must tell you that just today by WhatsApp, I received somebody sent me a advertisement by one of the Jamaat-e-Islami companies in Bangladesh, advertising for an executive position. And there are two criteria which are mentioned among all the criteria. only males should apply and only practicing Muslims should apply. So they don't even believe in their own policy of pluralism. We know in the referendum they want to cut out the policy of pluralism. So I think this Jamaat manifesto is to be taken really with a pinch of salt. For example, everybody knows that Jamaat-e-Islami had promised Sharia law, right, after the elections. But now, after the Americans came in, and there was that famous transcript of the talk between the American diplomat and certain journalists in Bangladesh, women journalists in Bangladesh, where the American diplomat says, no, they will not use Sharia law. If they do, we will put 100% tariffs. So I mean, this is the kind of level. And then Jamaat-e-Islami followed up by saying, yes, we're not going to have Sharia law. And one of the members of the 11-party alliance, Islami Andolan Bangladesh, actually left the alliance, saying that, we are leaving the alliance because now they're saying they don't want to impose Sharia law. So it's a bundle of contradictions. The Jamaat-e-Islami manifesto is a bundle of contradictions, and I think it's very difficult to accept it.
Professor Swaran Singh, are we dealing with a sort of a political party which says one thing and does the other thing, like Taliban? The women will be safe, the education will be safe, and now they have ended education for women in Afghanistan for all ages. So are we really dealing with a Bangladeshi Taliban here?
I think some of these far-right radical Islamist parties once in a while do take pragmatic decisions when they are feeling vulnerable to a certain situation, like elections coming now. But we have to
pragmatic
understand
or
the essential
opportunistic?
DNA.
Because they'll change it.
Absolutely. So it's an opportunistic or pragmatic, whichever way you look at it. Those are, sort of aberrations rather than being the norm. Because their essential DNA from August 1941, when Jamaat-e-Islami was first set up in Lahore, has always been radical Islamists, and therefore their views on women all the way to their current Amir, Dr. Shafiqur Rahman, repeated media interviews of his, including the recent one in Al Jazeera, I think, not only shows discrimination, but as Ambassador Sikri mentioned, very harsh language to be used against women, and now saying women and minorities will be accommodated in the cabinet post-elections is absolutely ridiculous. And we have to look at the second equally important fact that other than being, far-right radical Islamists, they have always been also anti-India. And indeed, they were against liberation of Bangladesh. So, the whole turnaround now in their 41-point manifesto just a week before elections are coming is definitely showcasing opportunist approach, as you mentioned. And I think India has to be very careful. And I think third very quick point, they are mentioning to have cooperative and constructive relations with India with a whole lot of other countries mentioned along. There are countries that are lined up as Nepal, Australia, Brazil, Canada, Egypt, Kuwait, Morocco, Nigeria, Romania, so many other countries. Similarly, when they ask India to send observers on these elections, they list several countries who have already agreed to send their observers, including 6 international organizations. So, even the gesture toward India is not uniquely, exclusively India gesture. It's a gesture in general to say we'll be nice guys to everybody else until we come to power. And I'm sure when they come to power, they'll try to do things that they always believe they should be doing, implementing Sharia law. Of course, now they're saying that hours for women workers who have children will be reduced, etc. etc. So these are, as you're mentioning, opportunistic gestures, and we have to look at the DNA of Jamaat instead of looking at their recent, efforts to accommodate situation.
Okay, Ambassador Sikri, Taliban has become an adjective, but is there a difference? I feel is there a difference between Taliban and Jamaat? Jamaat is like directly anti-India.
Well, I think Taliban too has shown a certain pragmatism in their relationship, which they have borne out on the ground through actual discussions, cooperation. Their minister has come to India, and even when their minister came to India, he was particularly sensitive on the gender issue because in the first press conference, women were not allowed. There was a huge furor, and then he very deliberately had a second press conference to show that he's going to have. But I think that the very important fact about this Jamaat-e-Islami manifesto that we have to look at is the Jamaat-e-Islami's relationship with Muslim Brotherhood. I think that is the relationship that we have to look at, because actually the Jamaat-e-Islami is known to be in very close alliance with the Muslim Brotherhood, number one. Number two, not only Pakistan, is Turkey now, who is putting a very strong focus on their relationship with Jamaat-e-Islami. And they are trying to take, at least, between Pakistan and Turkey, I think they've been told by the Western countries, let Turkey come in the front, because Turkey doesn't, India doesn't get so angry with Turkey as they get with Pakistan. But everybody knows what Turkey's objectives are. They want to revive the Ottoman Empire. They want to revive the caliphate that was there earlier. That is the target of President Erdogan is that. So that is a very big factor that everybody has to keep in mind. Well, all in all, we have to also take on board that right now, the Jamaat-e-Islami has the maximum support to come to power in Bangladesh. They are going to play a very big role. You must have seen that famous transcript of the manuscript of the discussion of the American diplomat that I just said. But it shows, one message was clear from that America is supporting Jamaat-e-Islami coming to power. And I think the BNP's role is going to be minimal. They may be included in this, what is called a national government, where there will be both BNP and Jamaat, and president will be Yunus. Dr. Yunus will be the president, and BNP and Jamaat will have positions in that government depending on, I suppose, the number of seats they get. But basically, it will be an Islamist government. We have to recognize that, because the BNP itself has a very large part of its members who are pro-Islamist, who are pro-Jamaat-e-Islami.
So basically, Dr. Singh, whether BNP is in power or Jamaat is in power, the pendulum has shifted within the Bangladeshi politics. It's like radical Islam, more light. It's a choice between Coke and Coke Light. That sort of thing. Madam, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, I want to come in here to say that I do not accept your saying that the pendulum has shifted, because actually this is a deliberate shift of the pendulum.
Okay.
The entire regime change operation was to bring about this shift of the pendulum.
Okay.
The people don't accept it. The Awami League, 40% of the entire vote bank of Bangladesh, is not being allowed to participate.
Okay.
And Bangladesh is Awami League is running a campaign in Bangladesh saying no vote, no vote. That means you don't allow the vote symbol, which is the Awami League symbol, where nobody's going to vote. So the people don't accept this pendulum shift. The university teachers are protesting. The girls came on the street in Dhaka University after the remark by Amir of Jamaat-e-Islami. And they are objecting, but everybody is riding roughshod over the people and putting the Jamaat-e-Islami in the front.
Okay. Professor Swarin Singh, do you agree with this? That with 40% of the people outside the voting arena, the population will lack complete legitimacy?
I think there is a certain pendulum shift, if you allow me to say that, because Bangladesh, for a long period of time, the politics was dominated by two women. And also, if you understand the liberal nature of Bengali culture and empowerment of women in Bengali culture, that seems to be under serious cloud now, because it seems the radical Islamic forces and the number of women today contesting these elections is very limited. Jamaat is contesting 179 seats out of 300, and they will, of course, nominate the rest of the 50 depending on proportional representation. They have not put even a single women candidate, and in that sense, invisibility of women in Bangladesh politics is reflective of far-right parties getting into influence. So even if Jamaat doesn't control the entire Sansad, the whole narrative has shifted. So even other political parties are beginning to kind of align with that kind of new mood.
Okay.
I think that new mood is towards some kind of a mindset. And that kind of pendulum shift, I think, is very visible right now.
Okay. Very quickly to Ambassador.
No, my point is that this is the mindset that is sought to be created. It is not the real mindset. Today, the media in Bangladesh is completely controlled. We don't even hear about the protests by the women, by others who've come on the streets. Because even when Jamaat-e-Islami forced Dr. Yunus to cancel his proposal to have singing teachers and music teachers in every school, college, and university, the women protested. They said culture and religion are two sides of the same coin for us. They are inseparable. Our culture, our language is very important. It's as important as our religion. They said that, and look at what they are doing to the minorities. Look at how they are killing the minorities. The minorities don't want to vote as well. They don't want to go and vote. They don't want to vote for either the Jamaat-e-Islami or the BNP. Although they may be forced, some of them may be forced. So I think that we have to note very carefully that for the last 18 months, a fake picture is being sought to be created as if it's the real picture. And it's not the real picture. The result is going to be that the violence will continue, the dissatisfaction will continue. These elections are not going to be the answer. These elections are not going to lead to a peaceful solution.